Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The lives of the Forrester and Spencer families entwined in the busy heart of Los Angeles, where the sun-kissed hills of Beverly Hills met the dazzling Pacific. Dr. John Finnegan, more often known as Finn, was at the center of yet another storm gathering in the shadow of the fashion empire. His wife, Steffi Forrester, had always been his rock, a fierce protector of their family, which included their two children, Hayes and Kelly. But lately, the shadows of the past refused to be buried, and at the core of it all was SHEILA Carter, Finn's biological mother, a woman whose name alone could send chills down the spines of even the most calm people in town. Finn paced the sleek, modern living room of the cliffside home he lived with Steffi, his medical scrubs still smelling faintly of the clean air of the hospital where he saved lives every day. The recent disclosures had shocked him to the core. SHEILA, the legendary villainess who had shot him in a fit of rage years before, only to mysteriously return from the dead, was unraveling once more. Whispers from Il Giardino, the restaurant run by her on-and-off-again boyfriend Deacon Sharp, presented a picture of pandemonium. SHEILA had learned about an explosive situation involving Deacon and none other than Taylor Hayes, Steffi's mother. The betrayal stung deep, and Finn knew all too well how SHEILA's hatred could turn into something dangerous and unpredictable. The first reason Finn felt compelled to search down SHEILA was Steffi's direct plea. It had occurred just the night before, as they lay in bed after putting the children to bed. Steffi turned to him, her eyes wide with anxiety and urgency, something Finn rarely saw in his strong-willed wife. "Finn, you have to find her," she had said quietly, her hand grasping his fiercely. "Sheila's spiraling. If she finds out about Deacon and Mom, I don't even want to think about what she'll do. Talk her down, calm her down before she explodes and drags everyone into her mess." Steffi wasn't one to beg, but the fear for her mother's safety and, by extension, the fragile peace their family had reclaimed after years of turmoil, made her voice tremble. Taylor and Deacon's secret meeting had been a powder keg waiting to explode, and SHEILA, with her history of obsession and violence, held the match. Finn had nodded, his doctor's intuition combining with his convoluted familial ties. He knew SHEILA better than others, or so he believed. Despite the horrors she had inflicted, shooting him point-blank, tormenting Steffi, and manipulating everyone around her, there was a biological bond that Finn could not completely break. It wasn't love in the classic sense. It was a twisted web of empathy, guilt, and the dim hope that a redeemed soul existed somewhere deep within SHEILA's shattered brain. Steffi's plea was more than just for protection. It was a test of Finn's commitment to the life they had created together. He had promised Steffi that he would handle the situation quietly, without exposing Ridge or the rest of the Forrester clan, who already saw SHEILA as a constant threat. As Finn sneaked out the next morning, his mind raced with images of previous fights. SHEILA had disguised herself to enter their lives, and she had begged his forgiveness just to lash out once more. This time, he convinced himself, things will be different. He'd find her, reason with her, and stop the eventual explosion. Driving through the winding streets toward downtown Los Angeles, Finn's thoughts turned to the second strong cause burning in his chest, his own unresolved relationship with SHEILA. Finn's life as a physician had been committed to healing, to mending bodies and, in less obvious ways, souls. SHEILA posed the ultimate test in that way. She had given birth to him in secret, concealed from the public by his adoptive mother, Lee Finnegan, who had gone to great measures to protect Finn from his biological roots. When the truth was revealed, it rocked Finn's world, but it also sowed seeds of inquiry and, dare he confess it, a strange type of compassion. SHEILA had mourned him when she thought she had killed him, her pain real and unfiltered in ways that humanized her ugliness. Finn couldn't get rid of the vision of her beside his bedside during his coma, mumbling apologies that appeared nearly sincere. Now, with rumors circling that SHEILA was on the edge of another breakdown, possibly due to health concerns or emotional emptiness that made her more volatile, Finn felt a doctor's obligation combined with something deeper. What if she needed medical attention? What if her fixation with family and belonging had pushed her to the brink, where intervention may save not only her, but everyone around her. He recalled their recent interactions, in which SHEILA raved about Taylor saving her relationship with Deacon, unknowing of the betrayal that was taking place. Finn had lied to her, skirting inquiries to keep the peace, but remorse gnawed at him. Tracking her down was about more than simply Steffi's desire. It was about facing his own demons. Could he really move on with Steffi if he left this loose thread untied? Finn tightened his grip on the steering wheel as he drew into a parking spot near Deacon's restaurant. He needed resolution, or at least a discourse that could bridge the gap between rejection and reluctant acceptance. SHEILA was more than simply a menace. She was a reflection of his own vulnerabilities, reminding him that family bonds, no matter how toxic, needed recognition. The streets were alive with the normal LA energy, tourists taking shots of Hollywood icons, locals dashing to meetings, but Finn's attention condensed to one purpose. He walked into Il Giardino. The smells of garlic and fresh basil hit him like a wave of nostalgia. Deacon was not present, but a waitress remembered seeing SHEILA earlier, her demeanor odd, mumbling about betrayals and paying the price. Finn's pulse accelerated. This led him directly to the third and arguably most pressing cause for his desperation, the imminent threat to his family's safety and the fragile equilibrium they had built. SHEILA's past was filled with acts that crossed every boundary imaginable. From her fashion manipulations to her blatant attacks on Steffi, Finn knew better than anybody how swiftly her pain escalated to danger. If she uncovered Deacon's involvement with Taylor, the woman who was once her rival in every way, the consequences could be disastrous. Taylor was more than simply Steffi's mother. She was a pillar of the extended family, a psychiatrist whose own mental health issues made her a target for SHEILA's twisted thinking. Finn imagined the options playing out, SHEILA storming into Forrester Creations, disrupting Hope's line, or worse, confronting Taylor directly with the insane look that had haunted his dreams. Above all else, he was concerned about protecting his children. Hayes and Kelly deserved a childhood free of the shadows that SHEILA projected. Finn had battled tooth and nail to keep them safe following earlier occurrences, including the shooting that almost killed him. Steffi had been correct to be concerned. SHEILA's calming down was not voluntary. It was essential to the existence of their blended family. As Finn continued his quest, piecing together clues from mutual connections, he considered the larger ramifications. The bold and the beautiful world thrived on drama, but this felt more intimate and visceral. His marriage to Steffi had already withstood storms, infidelities, accidents, betrayals, but SHEILA remained the wild card who could derail it all. Hours progressed into a full day of quiet investigations. Finn went to SHEILA's last known haunts, which ranged from shabby motels on the outskirts where she occasionally laid low to elegant restaurants she frequented when feeling triumphant. Each visit brought up memories. SHEILA's pleasure when she initially discovered Finn was alive, her wrath when she was refused, and her desperate appeals for a second opportunity. He recalled Lee's warnings, how his adoptive mother had given up all to give him a normal life, only for the truth to surface like a tidal wave. Finn's medical background had taught him to recognize symptoms before they became crises, and SHEILA was already exhibiting all of the indicators of an imminent eruption: erratic behavior, isolation, and a focus on imagined slights. Finn observed her shadow at a park with a view of the city in the late afternoon, her characteristic red hair reflecting the dying sunshine. She sat on a seat, peering into the distance, holding a half-empty coffee cup. Finn approached slowly, calling out gently, "SHEILA." She turned, astonishment on her face before hardening into mistrust. "Finn, what are you doing here? Come to lecture me again about staying away." He sat alongside her, choosing his words with surgical precision. "No lectures. Just talk. Steffi's worried. I'm worried. Whatever's going on with Deacon, with everything, you don't have to face it alone." The conversation progressed in layers, exposing SHEILA's defenses. She revealed parts of her anguish, the fear of abandonment, the sting of betrayal she sensed but couldn't describe. Finn listened, his empathy conflicting with caution. He had to tread a fine line between expressing humanity and permitting danger. Finn's objectives became clearer as they spoke. The first reason, Steffi's plea, grounded him in his duty to his wife and her family. It reminded him of the vows they made at their wedding, promising to protect their loved ones from harm. Steffi had rebuilt her life after traumatic events, and Finn refused to let SHEILA ruin her efforts. Their children required stability, not the mayhem SHEILA inadvertently or purposefully invited. The second reason, his inner bond, was disclosed through subtle disclosures. "You're part of me, whether we like it or not," Finn stated, his voice firm. "I became a doctor to fix what's broken. Maybe there's something here worth fixing, not for the past, but for whatever future we can salvage." SHEILA's eyes softened briefly, revealing a rare tenderness. She talked about her loneliness and how Taylor's relationship with Deacon felt like the ultimate theft, not just of her lover, but of the normalcy she desired thanks to Finn's acceptance. However, Finn was most motivated by the third reason, prevention. He portrayed vivid pictures of the repercussions, not as threats, but as facts. If this explodes, it won't just hurt Deacon or Taylor. It'll affect Hayes, Kelly, and everyone. I can't let that happen. SHEILA bristled at first, her defensive walls rising, but Finn's steady insistence wore down. He told examples from the hospital about patients who improved after receiving assistance and families that were repaired via open communication. "You're stronger than your impulses, SHEILA. Prove it by walking away from the edge." The sun dipped lower, creating sweeping shadows across the park. Their conversation was lengthy, full of accusations, apologies, and shaky understandings. Finn described the shot not to injure, but to demonstrate the cycle they were locked in. "I forgave you once in my heart because holding on to hate nearly destroyed me too. But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting the boundaries." SHEILA answered with her own narrative of a woman rejected by life, grasping for morsels of affection. Finn saw glimpses of the mother she could have been if things had gone differently. The word count grew as the conversation moved into broader musings on love, betrayal, and redemption in their soap opera lives. Finn stressed that his desperation was not the result of weakness, but of strength, the ability to confront rather than avoid. Steffi's request had opened the door, but his personal investment and protective instincts propelled him through. He imagined SHEILA taking a step back, focusing on her own life at Il Giardino, perhaps even finding tranquility outside of the Forester's orbit. SHEILA, for her part, questioned Finn's sincerity. "Do you really care, or is this just damage control for your precious Steffi?" Finn responded calmly and honestly. "Both. I care because you're my mother. I act because my family needs safety. Those aren't mutually exclusive." Their conversation wandered across memories, the birth secret, the coma vigil, the weddings and funerals that had marked their shared history. Finn highlighted progress, his career succeeding, his marriage expanding despite challenges, and his children thriving. As dusk neared, a tenuous truce formed. SHEILA agreed to put her pursuit of answers concerning Deacon on hold for the time being, allowing Finn to mediate indirectly. It wasn't a solution, but it bought time. Finn took her to a safer location, his thoughts already rushing back home, where he would debrief Steffi without disclosing every sensitive detail. Finn mused about the day's wait as he drove back. The three reasons blended seamlessly: Steffi's cry for calm, his personal desire for connection, and the need to protect his planet. Finn's actions highlighted a universal truth in the gorgeous yet treacherous milieu of the bold and the beautiful, where alliances fluctuated like hemlines on the runway. Family, whether blood or chosen, necessitated vigilance, compassion, and sometimes extreme measures. However, when he pulled into the driveway, a niggling worry persisted. Had he really tracked her down in time? SHEILA's eyes carried hidden secrets and hints of intentions seething beneath the surface. The coming chapters in their story promise more twists, such as a clash at Forrester or a health revelation that changed the relationships completely. For the time being, Finn accepted the little win, hugging Steffi warmly as she entered, murmuring that the immediate storm had passed. The evening began with a family dinner, with the kids laughing covering any undercurrents. Finn's thoughts, however, remained on SHEILA. He considered the long term, Could she ever assimilate without destruction? Was his desperation simply delaying the inevitable? In soap opera fashion, resolves were fleeting, clearing the door for new drama. In this moment, Finn's resolve stiffened. He would track, talk, and protect again if necessary, motivated by these three unwavering motivations. Finn elaborated on the emotional aspects, recalling specific hospital shifts where he treated patients that mirrored SHEILA's volatility, an addiction to turmoil, and a dread of rejection. His training emphasized de-escalation, which he demonstrated beautifully that day. Steffi's effect was significant. Her strength inspired his own, reminding him of why their partnership had persisted. The protective impulse went beyond blood and included the entire Forrester heritage, including historic fashion presentations, corporate struggles, and romantic entanglements. SHEILA's perspective, as offered in snatches, provided more dimension. She described nights alone, recalling Finn's birth and the subsequent losses. Her need for his praise collided with her destructive instincts, producing the ideal storm that Finn wanted to calm. Their park bench conversation delved into philosophy, nature versus nurture, the restorative power of truth, and the cost of secrecy. Finn referenced medical ethics indirectly, emphasizing do no harm as a guiding principle for their strained relationship. Hours of plot development showed character complexity. Steffi, pacing at home, took business calls from Ridge while repressing her uneasiness over her mother's situation. Taylor, naive or purposely blind, resumed her sessions, completely unaware of the pizza cutter incident whispers or SHEILA's disguises in previous plans. Deacon struggled with guilt at the restaurant, torn between loyalties. The ensemble cast surrounded the center conflict, heightening Finn's